Hello and welcome to your own classroom. Today in the fast track revision series we would be learning about Renin-Angiotensin-Aldosterone-System, which is abbreviated as RAAS. So first let's see why are we studying this. Actually it is one of the systems that regulate the kidney function or the glomerular filtration rate, GFR. So there are other systems or other mechanisms by which kidney functions are regulated. So first we'll look at them, then we'll go for RAAS. So the first mechanism is myogenic autoregulation. An increase in the blood pressure stretches the afferent arteriole. If you can see this diagram, this is afferent arteriole and this is efferent arteriole. From afferent arteriole, blood enters the glomerulus. So an increase in the blood pressure stretches the afferent arteriole. And this stretching, due to this stretching, there is an increased blood flow to the glomerulus. And this stretching allows the entry of calcium ions from the extracellular fluid ECF into the arteriole, leading to its contraction. तो होगा क्या, जब ये वॉल्स एफरेंट आर्टेरियोल के वॉल्स जो हैं वो स्ट्रेच करेंगे ड्यू टू इंक्रीज इन ब्लड प्रेशर, देन calcium ions from the extracellular fluid would rush into this afferent arteriole, leading to the contraction of the wall of afferent arteriole, and the diameter is reduced and the blood flow decreases. So it is regulating by itself. That's why it is called as myogenic autoregulation. Let's see the other mechanism of regulation. It is by osmoreceptors. Osmoreceptors, from the name itself, it is very clear, the receptors which sense the osmolarity, the receptors which sense the concentration of water, blood volume, body fluid volume and ions, and any loss in these fluids activates the osmoreceptors, which stimulates the release of ADH or vasopressin from the hypothalamus. तो होगा क्या कि जब भी बॉडी से फ्लूइड्स का लॉस होगा, ऑस्मोरिसेप्टर्स एक्टिवेट हो जाएंगे और ये ऑस्मोरिसेप्टर्स क्या करेंगे, दे विल स्टिमुलेट द रिलीज ऑफ एंटी डायूरेटिक हार्मोन और वैसोप्रेसिन फ्रॉम द हाइपोथैलेमस, विच फैसिलिटेट द रीएब्जॉर्प्शन ऑफ वाटर एट द लेवल ऑफ DCTN कलेक्टिंग टिब्यूल. तो ये जो ADH आएगा ये क्या करेगा, वाटर का रीएब्जॉर्प्शन करवाएगा एट द लेवल ऑफ DCTN कलेक्टिंग टिब्यूल और कलेक्टिंग डक्ट. ADH किस तरीके से वाटर का रीअब्जॉर्प्शन करवाता है, लेट्स सी. ADH increases the aquaporins on the surrounding tissues. Basically aquaporins are the intrinsic membrane proteins. They are associated with the membranes. They create pore in the membranes, leading to the uptake of the water. They are also referred as or synonymously called as water channels. So they allow the cells to take water into them. ADH can constrict the blood vessels, leading to increase in the pressure, which can lead to increased renal blood flow and finally the GFR. ADH क्या करेगा, ये ब्लड वेसल्स को कंस्ट्रिक्ट कर सकता है जिसकी वजह से प्रेशर बढ़ेगा और रीनल ब्लड फ्लो बढ़ेगा और GFR बढ़ेगा. तो ये बेसिकली हम कह सकते हैं कि जब GFR कम हो जाता है तब ADH तब भी रिलीज होता है. देन नेक्स्ट इज अल्कोहल हैज़ गॉट इनहिबिटरी इफेक्ट ऑन ADH, मीन्स एंटी डायूरेटिक हार्मोन. फ्रॉम द नेम इटसेल्फ इट इज़ वेरी क्लियर, द हार्मोन विच प्रिवेंट्स डायूरेसिस. डायूरेसिस का मतलब होता है रिलीज ऑफ डाइल्यूट यूरिन, मीन्स द यूरिन हैविंग मोर अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर. तो जब ऐसा होगा तो बॉडी में डिहाइड्रेशन वाली स्टेट आ जाएगी. तो अल्कोहल कॉजेज डिहाइड्रेशन लाइक स्टेट इन द बॉडी बाय कॉजिंग इनहिबिटरी इफेक्ट ऑन द ADH. ADH is triggered when osmoreceptor sense an increase in the osmolarity of blood above a set point of 300 milliosmol per milliliter per ml. So osmoreceptors also promote thirst. कहने का मतलब यह है कि हम लोग एक जगह कहते हैं कि अगर बॉडी फ्लूइड का लॉस होता है तब ऑस्मोरिसेप्टर्स एक्टिवेट होते हैं. तो ये चीज़ और ये फिनोमेना दोनों एक ही जैसा है. ये कह रहा है कि जब ब्लड का कंसंट्रेशन और ब्लड का ऑस्मोलैरिटी 300 मिली ऑस्मोल से ज़्यादा होगा तब जाके ADH का रिलीज होगा. तो एक ही बात है एक तरीके से. So let's see one of the disease associated with the deficiency of ADH. And the disease is called as diabetes insipidus. The meaning of insipidus, tasteless, means the disease in which tasteless urine is produced. There are three peculiar symptoms or characters of diabetes insipidus. The first is diuresis, means excessive secretion of dilute urine. Second is polydipsia, excessive water drinking, means if one is secreting dilute urine, means he is losing lot of water. In order to compensate that, he will take more water via drinking. Then polyuria, it means frequent urination. So diuresis, polydipsia and polyuria are the three peculiar characteristics of diabetes insipidus. Now let's see another mechanism of regulation of kidney function. It is neural control. Blood vessels of the kidney are innervated by nerve fibers. Means there are several blood vessels in the kidney and they are supplied by the nerve fibers of the sympathetic neural system or sympathetic nervous system. On activation, the nerve fibers bring about constriction of renal arteries, which causes decrease in the renal blood flow, and the GFR is brought to normal or GFR is restored. Means when actually neural control comes into play when the GFR is increased. So in order to bring it to normal, renal arteries constrict on activation of the nerve fibers and leading to decrease in the renal flow and finally GFR. Now let's see another mechanism, and this is the topic of our interest, Renin-Angiotensin-Aldosterone-System, RAAS. Actually, juxtaglomerular apparatus, if you remember JGA, JGA cells operate Renin-Angiotensin-Aldosterone system. So in response to decrease in the glomerular filtration rate, when the GFR is reduced, so in that case what would happen, these JGA cells, they secrete renin. There is a single N, remember there is a single N in renin. It is different from RENNIN. What is RENNIN? It is enzyme required for the digestion of milk in infants. So what does this JGA cells do? JGA cell do? In case of the decrease in GFR, JGA cells release renin, which breaks down the angiotensin that is produced by the liver into angiotensin 1, and which is further broken down by angiotensin converting enzyme into angiotensin 2. This angiotensin converting enzyme is produced by the lungs. So let's see what are the functions of angiotensin 2. Basically, angiotensin 2 increases the blood pressure by causing constriction of arterioles because it has to restore the GFR to normal. Then angiotensin 2 increases the blood volume by inducing PCT to reabsorb more NaCl and water. Means it causes the reabsorption of NaCl and water at the level of proximal convoluted tubule. And angiotensin 2 also stimulate the adrenal gland, adrenal cortex, to release aldosterone that induces distal convoluted tubule to reabsorb more NaCl and water. So this is one of the mechanisms of regulation. And last is regulation by ANF, atrial natriuretic factor. Actually, ANF is an antagonist of RAAS. It opposes the regulation by renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. It is released by the walls of atria of heart in response to increase in the blood volume and pressure. So when there is increased blood volume, increase in the blood volume and pressure, then atria of the heart or the walls of the atria of the heart release atrial natriuretic factor, which inhibits the release of renin. When renin does not release from JGA cells, then it will all the factors that are affected by renin, like angiotensin 2, would also get reduced, thereby inhibiting the NaCl reabsorption by the collecting duct and reduces aldosterone release from the adrenal cortex. So overall I can say the reabsorption is reduced. So it controls body fluid osmolarity, salt concentration, blood pressure and blood volume. Means in one term we can say it is an antagonist of RAAS. So it controls all the factors that are regulated by RAAS. So this is all for this lecture. Thank you.